Fire types are one of the most loved Pokemon types out there. They're flashy, they're powerful, and sometimes they're a little unhinged. But how do they really hold up in Pokémon Legends ZA? Well, I decided to find out the only way I know, by trying to beat the entire game using only fire types. Can a team built entirely out of walking flamethrowers survive the Kalos region? Or will we burn out before we get to the finish line? Let's find out. We get off the train in Lumios, and Tawny and I are immediately mugged by a Pancham. This is a true French simulator. So we chase it down, and that somehow leads us straight into choosing our starter. Obviously, due to the fire typing, I grab Tepig, and we name Mick Crimson, and it's time to take down the wannabe street thug. The combat system is way different here, so don't expect any pro gamer moves from me just yet, or ever in fact. We fist bump Tawny, which judging by the dialogue option is apparently a new concept for us, and we finally start our journey for real this time. Quick disclaimer though, I'm diving into this run before level caps are even worked out, so if my team's levels look a bit cursed at times, that's why. Anyway, we're approached by a waiter who looks like he wants to mug us. As a Brit, I find this all very unusual. Actually, who am I kidding? Have you ever been to London before? Crimson makes quick work of her Cleffer and Bunnelby, and just like that, we're back on the road, escaping the chaos of Lumios with our wallets still intact. We do get briefly interrupted by a laser beam firing flower, and then finally, we do get to leave the battle zone and head for the hotel.
Jesus Christ, you're massive!
Sorry, that's really rude. After totally not noticing the Matrix injection bug sneak out of our bag, we meet AZ, who, despite his whole ancient wisdom vibe, seems like a fairly chilled out chap who just happens to own the hotel. We head up to the roof, fist bump again, as in tradition now, and crash for the night until the sunlight beams through the hotel lobby. All of a sudden, we're signed up for something called the ZA Royale, a big local tournament everyone seems to be obsessed with, especially Tawny. We decide to join her battling team, MZ, to help them climb the ranks. We also get kitted out in our new uniform and instantly look 30% more French in these suspiciously tight black trousers. Hey, if you're enjoying this, subscribe so I know that you're a true Poke fanatic, and like the video if you think I should keep my water bottle very far away from Crimson the Tepig, because I will get clumsy and that will go badly. Back in the run, Tawny informs us that we're starting at rank Z, aiming for rank A. This could be an incredibly long game. And before we can even complain, she actually teaches us how to roll. Like an actual combat roll. Did I not develop basic motor skills when I was 2? What was my childhood? What were my parents even doing with me? We finally head back outside and take on Tawny in our first proper fight, and Crimson shines again, mostly because her Totodile doesn't actually know any water moves yet, which, honestly, I'm not gonna complain about. We slog through a few more tutorial sections before finally getting our first taste of the Wild Zone. And this is where we meet our first encounter of the run, Fletchling. Not a fire type yet, but one day Blush the Fletchling will spread her wings and become one of the absolute monsters of the old X and Y meta. To progress, the game makes us catch a few more Pokemon, including the tutorial Bunnelby. But don't worry, I'm only using fire types in battle, and the rest will rot in the box till the end of time, just how you like it. It's a nasty old world for some of us. After a species catch mission, we head into the Pokemon Research Lab, where I immediately fall in love with a painting of an alcoholic Scrafty. It's art. It's chaos. It's beautiful, and I want it. Inside, we meet Mabel, the acting director of the lab, and quite possibly the most sarcastic person in the entire series to date. She ropes us into becoming her surveyor, officially signing us up for Mabel's research. The more tasks we complete, the better the rewards we earn, starting with TMs and then XP candy, Master Balls, and even the shiny charm. So yeah, Pokemon finally added battle passes, and I can't even throw microtransactions at them, which is arguably a good thing. Oh no, the alcoholic Scrafty's back. Look mate, I don't want any trouble. I'm on your team. Oh, it turns out this little drinker actually belongs to Naveen, another member of Team MZ, who decides to give us a fedorable gift. Thanks, I guess? I'll try to keep it on to keep her sweet though. After that, it's time for our first Battle Royale. We grind through a few trainers until we've earned enough tickets for a Challenger ticket, unlocking our first promotion match. Zach the taxi driver and his team never stood a chance. Once his Pikachu went down, we rocketed up to a Y rank trainer. Yeah, this is gonna take a while. Then we meet Emma, the local detective, who sprints everywhere like she's late to find a Chaos Emerald. She drops by, says hello, and then immediately gotta go fasters her way into the distance. The next day, Tawny takes us sightseeing, which includes a small section where she encourages us to jump off a roof. Sure, why not? What's the worst that could happen? We do a few more catch missions, admire this majestic Charizard outside a coffee shop, and then run into Ivor, the absolute unit of a man who wants wild zones to exist everywhere. It's definitely the testosterone and the steroids talking, but honestly, I respect his unwavering passion. Heading into the next wild zone, we pick up our newest Ember member, Sangria the Litleo, a tiny flaming furball that's ready to heat up the team. Later on, we bump into Emma again, and she asks us for some help with her detective work. Naturally, we say yes, and in return, we unlock side missions throughout the game. I'll be honest, this run basically includes 0 of them. This leads us to our first blackout of the run for the ones that we did do, courtesy of this Bunnelby of Doom, who wipes us out with a super effective hit. It was bound to happen eventually, I just didn't expect it to happen from this. I'm praying no one saw it happen, else I'm on the next train out of here. We clean up a few missions, take down that big old Bunnelby, and regroup the team. In an exciting moment for the run, Blush evolves into Fletchinder. At long last, we get that sweet, sweet fire flying typing that we've been craving since the minute we got her. Then, out of nowhere, Emma casually introduces us to the beloved art of Mega Evolution by flexing her Mega Ampharos right in front of my poor first stage starter. Oh, so very kind of you, Emma. So very humble. You're truly an inspirational, and this isn't egotistical at all. We follow that by smashing Yvonne, the Y rank trainer, and rocketing up to a whopping X rank. I can already see A rank from here, all the way on the other side of the alphabet. Except there is a minor issue. I actually forgot to evolve Crimson before that fight. So when we're back at the hotel the next day, that's priority number 1. I'm still getting used to all of this, alright? Then we beat Naveen in the courtyard, and after I take on Javi, who tried to overwhelm us with numbers, we push through and snag a win, landing ourselves a shiny new W rank. Ooh. The next day rolls around and we're tasked with returning Lida's lost items, which, of course, leads to a battle. Because if that doesn't sum up Pokemon, I don't know what does. Unfortunately for us, that team is fueled by water types, which goes about as well as you'd expect. We wipe hard. After a quick grind session and some tactical humility, we do try again, and this time we manage to pull through our teammate squad. Then it's on to Rintaro, whose elemental monkey trio gets absolutely incinerated by the team. This victory moves us up to rank V, which as far as I'm concerned, V stands for very nice, good job Macho Brace. Outside, we get jumped by a dog with the skinniest little legs I've ever seen. Like, who's feeding you, buddy? We chase the animal with a jewel-encrusted butt for a bit, but it teleports us onto a roof. Is that why dogs go roof? Roof? Comedy gold. Up there, we find a big white dog who looks like he's had one too many wines at the French bistro. Then another dog shows up out of nowhere. Like, guys, what in Dog's Trust is happening right now? I'm a Pokemon trainer, not a dog walker. We settle the dispute with a little dog fighting. Don't worry, it's apparently legal in France. And move on to get a shiny new Mega bracelet for ourselves. With our new jewelry, it's time to grab some new encounters. So we head into the city. In the local area, we catch a Pansir, who we name Garnet, followed by a Numel named Strawberry. Garnet immediately evolves into a Simisear. He's got chill vibes, but yeah, he's significantly less adorable now. Next, we're challenged by Vinny, a top-knot-toting castle dweller who treats this as a proving match. Apparently, beating him is the key to fighting more rogue Pokemon like the Absol from before. Unfortunately, his Mega Drampa sweeps us straight off of the map, after his Sharpedo already did in half the team. Yeah, we might need to hit the gym before trying that again. In the chaos of grinding against an Alpha Houndoom, we accidentally stumble onto our next encounter, Sunset the Houndour, which means we officially have a full squad of fire types. And then following this, we had a bit of a mishap. I somehow give Sangria all of our medium XP candy, and in record time, the gluttonous lion evolves into Pyroar, whilst I wasn't recording. Thanks, Sangria, you greedy chonky beast. I'm sure that won't completely skew the level caps for the rest of the run. But anyway, we see how we fare against Vinny now, and yeah, it turns out having a level capped Pyroar with a Sugar Rush makes things pretty trivial. We take him down without even needing a Mega Evolution, but that's mostly because we don't have a Fire one yet. Sure, the victory feels a little bit hollow, but the Lion does not concern himself with level caps. And with that, we jump up to F rank. What? Where's the rest of the alphabet? Well, that's trimmed about 3 hours off of this video's runtime, so I'll take it from an editing perspective. Next stop is the Quasartico building, I hope I'm saying that right, where the world of Mega Evolution suddenly opens up for us. The company, apparently warned by AZ a few years ago, is on a mission to stop rogue Mega Evolutions from wreaking havoc on the city. At this point, we unlock the option to buy Mega Stones, and the fire type one available to us is Houndoomite. So naturally, we evolve Sunset into Houndoom, slap that glimmering marble on it, and hope it's a little bit more reliable than our juiced up Sangria. From here, we're on a full-blown rogue Pokemon hunt, taking down mini-bosses in exchange for Mega Stones. It's time-consuming, sure, but the rewards are absolutely worth it. It's probably a good time to mention how much I'm enjoying this combat system. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and I'm sure of that, but once you get past the mash buttons and pray stage, it's really satisfying to play. Eventually, AZ hands us Emborite, which is perfect timing as Crimson finally evolves into an Embor. I've got a feeling this Mega Stone's going to be vital to our success. Well, I say that. If we actually had the stones for every potential member, 4 out of 6 could Mega Evolve. That is ridiculous, and I love it. Speaking of evolutions, our first encounter Blush also evolves into Talonflame, rounding out our fiery lineup even further. The firing squad is officially stacked. With rogue Pokemon handled, the skinny dog returns for another bite, this time outside the hotel. At one point it even lunges for me. Dude, that's my ankle! Then L, not that one, strolls out of the shadows, saying something cryptic and then wanders back into the town. Weird guy. Definitely a main plot twist type of energy coming from him at the moment. Next up, we're roped into a series of streamer-based missions to earn a shot at E rank. It's a blur of cringe gamer dialogue, streaming culture jokes, and stand behavior that's a little bit too accurate for my liking. Eventually, we come face to face with Canary, the local variety e-celebrity. The key to this section? Follow the superfan around for his answers. You know, the guy who definitely shouldn't know her exact location at all times. We soon take matters into our own hands, and it's a nice bonus after the fight as Strawberry evolves into Camerupt. This is a massive power-up, and honestly, probably one of the most important team members for the road ahead. You'll see. The fight kicks off and... wait, we're fighting Tarragon? Did I miss something obvious here? Unfortunately for us, his entire team is made up of ground types. His Hippowdon opens with Stealth Rock, which is genuinely a brilliant strategy against our poor Talonflame. And yeah, it obviously works, as Blush drops almost instantly. We fire back with Embor, who cleans up Hippowdon and then flattens Diggersby for good measure. But then his ace hits the field. Excadrill. Mega Excadrill. It lands a brutal ground attack that wipes Crimson off the map, but thankfully, Sangria the Pyroar steps up and lands an absolutely disgusting overheat for the win. And then, the twist of all twists. Tarragon was the Canary hologram the whole time. What is even happening anymore? This game's gone full Black Mirror and I'm not here for it. Next we face Canary, the real one, the streamer herself, not just an old man pretending to be her online. And also her electric type core. This fight's much easier overall than Tarragon's, though we still take a few hits along the way. Honestly, I cannot imagine doing a nuzlocke of this game. The tactical AI here would have me on a highlight reel of failure, and I'm sure that you'd restart the run endlessly. Or at least I would. Kudos to you that are actually trying it though. We end up taking out Mega Electros with Crimson, now a Mega Embor, before landing the final blow with Garnet the Simisear, earning ourselves the E-Rank trainer card. It's obvious that this ranking system is the real driving force behind the game, but it is a perfect mix of classic gym-style progression and a fresh modern battling format. I have absolutely no problems with this at all. We move on to tackling more rogue Megas. Beedrill, Horlucha, arguably the best new form, and Bennett, who I always forget even has a mega form. I've condensed all of this down for your sanity, but trust me, these fights take ages when you don't have a mega with a super effective option. Most of it is just me mashing buttons until the shiny rock drops into my sweaty, aching hands. We head back to the hotel and our phone pings. It's time for our rank up match to finally push for D rank. And who's waiting for us? None other than Ivor, that absolute unit from earlier. So we charge into the night, beating the absolute stuffing out of the local French community until we're deemed too strong and we get to challenge this brick wall of a man whose main typing is unsurprisingly fighting types. Honestly, with the right footwear, this guy would make an exceptional security guard. On the way there, we run into a random trainer who has my least favorite team composition of all time, Diggersby and Watchog. I mean, come on, man. Don't be that guy. He's one Bruxish away from becoming an all-timer in bad taste. we take on Josie, one of Ivor's Iron Justice teammates, and flatten her pretty quickly. Then the man himself shows up and drops a bit of a backstory. He's lost his sister, Gwyn, and if we want that promotion game, we're gonna have to find her. Luckily for us, Emma is basically now an on-call detective, so we rope her in to help with the case. This sends us all around the city, including an unexpected rematch with Canary, before we actually find ourselves freezing a fountain to break into the local sewers. This feels like Black and White 2 all over again. It's not all dreadful down here though. We actually find a wonderful little encounter, Terracotta the Litwick. It's going to be a tough call figuring out who to rotate now, but Chandelure with a brand new Mega Evolution? Yeah, that's going to be a prospect I'm not passing up. Sorry Garnet, someone had to budge. Ivor continues his campaign of testosterone-fueled dominance by literally smashing through a metal door, while we, not to be outdone in front of Emma, just walk straight through a wall. Subtlety? I've never heard of it. Eventually we find Gwyn, and what's the first thing we do? We battle, because in Pokemon, that is apparently everyone's default social interaction. Houndoom does most of the heavy lifting in this fight, but Litwick actually gets the final hit because they fear no Mega Chandelure, no matter how dramatic the lighting suddenly was. Once she's defeated, it's time to take on the big punching brute himself, Ivor. And it's horrible. We're massively underleveled here, and his Mega Phalanx steamrolls us into the floor. So, we take a breather for a little while, grind a few quests for Mabel by catching some Pokemon we obviously aren't allowed to use, and then get the team into fighting shape. Honestly, the grinding in this game, compared to some of the other Pokemon titles, is actually pretty good. It's fast-paced, varied, and super satisfying once you start planning your turns properly. During that grind, Terracotta evolves into Lampent, and with a conveniently found Duskstone, we finally unleash the special attacking powerhouse that is Chandelure. This is about the time we face Ivor. It's much more level, and we take the win with far less issues than before, and with this, we're a D-rank trainer. And of course, something suddenly goes wrong. Tawny is being hunted by loan sharks, and no, that's not a regional Sharpedo form, actual debt-collecting loan sharks. So we rush over to the so-called Rust Syndicate headquarters where we meet Philippe, the scariest-looking gangster to ever rock spiky mutton chops. He whips out Mega Skarmory, which looks absolutely incredible, but sadly for him, our Fire Core is not in the mood for intimidation. He invites us into the base, and for some reason, disables our ability to run for a whopping 7 seconds. Riveting gameplay. Inside, we meet the boss himself, Corbeau, a man dripping with aura. The 15-foot King Gambit statue and the Hisuian Quillfish vase immediately sell me on his aesthetic. It turns out, Tawny took out a loan for 100,000 Pokédollars to save the hotel, and the interest has ballooned to 1 million. If only we could just leave this tour on our own. We agree to help clear the debts though, by acting as runners for the Syndicate if needed. Just another normal day in Lumios apparently. In the meantime, we're back on the rogue Pokemon hunt. We torch Mega Mawile in seconds, Strawberry the Camerupt absolutely carrying that one. Then we take on Barbaracle, which goes about as well as you'd expect. Not that great, but still finally successful. And then there was Ampharos, which takes a dash of patience as Gwyn insists on a rematch before we even get to fight it. I don't really have a deep analysis of that fight, but I will say Mega Chandelure looks really good, and I'm desperate for that opportunity to use it. We eventually swipe the Ghost Girl aside, Ampharos takes its time, but we do eventually get it done. And once again I'm mashing buttons so aggressively for these Megastones that I'm basically exchanging physical pain for their power. Honestly, I'm kind of okay with that. Before long, Corbeau starts sending us jobs, taking out troublemakers like Gengar and Ghastly, clearing crystal infestations in the sewers, and generally being an upstanding member of society. I think I've done more chores in this game than in my actual house, so it's all been a bit of a personal revelation. Corbeau then drops a plot twist on us. L is actually Lysander. Oh, big shocker. I know. Truly blindsided. No hints whatsoever in the character design. After that shock, we head to the Centrico Plaza to battle some trainers, but our rampage is rudely interrupted by a crowd forming around President Jet and Tawny. Corbeau and I step in to break things up, but the crowd kind of has a point. Their complaints about the wild zones are completely valid. Still, the situation escalates, and before I know it, we're carving through members of the Lumios safety group. It does feel wrong, but you know, it has to be done. After the dust settles, Corbeau invites us to a private meeting, disabling our running privileges yet again, before graciously wiping away Tawny's debt out of goodwill. Of course, it turns out that's not all he wants. Moments later, our phone pings, and as expected, Corbeau is our next promotion match. I don't really want to fight him. My man crush has grown too powerful for this one, but as they say, love can be cruel. We power through the local trainer fodder, rack up 38,000 points, and earn our token. It's time to take the Syndicate head himself, but not before picking up Chandelurite. This mega is the reason I wanted to do this run in the first place, so it's only fair we debut it in a rank up match. We open with Sangria the Pyroar, and our bot comes out for Corbeau, who is swept aside after an Earth Power and an overheat. Sunset comes in and instantly goes down to Gyarados, so Emboar comes in and Thunder Punches it for a one-hit KO. Roserade slides in and immediately goes for a Heat Crash before his final Pokemon comes out, and we sneak into Chandelure just before. He pulls out Scolipede and Mega Evolves it into an armored behemoth. Fortunately, we still have the advantage, so we Mega Evolve our own Terracotta and a back and forth goes. An overheat just about gets the KO in the end though. Corbeau goes down and we rank up to the dizzying heights of a rank C trainer. For winning, he gives us Gunk Shot, the same product I assume that he's using in his hair, before we fist bump and my heart genuinely skips a beat. And then he tells me he's not done with me yet, and that he'll meet me at the hotel. Am I gonna have to censor this bit of the video? Oh, it turns out he's just staying there. Oh, right. Okay. I watch him ride the lift up on his own before heading to bed myself, emotionally confused, but ready for the next day. The following morning, Corbeau gives Tawny the money to pay off her own debt, which, if you think about it, basically sends his cash on a scenic route back into his own pocket. What a financial genius. Then AZ kits out the rest of the team with Mega Rings, which means I get to immediately wipe them all out. It's not great for team morale, but my ego is thriving. My favourite moment of this bit was watching Crimson punch a Staryu so hard it immediately dies on the spot. It's the little things in life that make you smile. Oh my word, what the hell in the Peggy 7 is going on here? Laban shows up in what we'll politely call warm weather clothing and tells us that Jacinth, I'm only joking, that Yasanth, the leader of the Society of Battle Connoisseurs, or SBC for sure, wants us to attend the next gathering. I'm sure a few of my viewers will be there too, probably licking the windows of whatever building it's being held in. We head to the shops to get dressed up nice for the occasion, full flashy drip, looking like the man who represents the Greeters Guild. Then we roll up to this swanky building where Laban escorts us to the main hall. Inside we catch up with Canary, Gwyn and a bunch of familiar faces from earlier, before Lady Acanth, the most humble-looking host imaginable, makes her grand entrance. We're just about to see what happens next when Tawny calls us away to go hunt more rogue megas. Guys, seriously, can you not handle this by yourselves? I'm rubbing shoulders with the elite, the best of the best. Oh wait, scratch that. Yacanth is still rubbing shoulders with me as she crashes our mission planning meeting as a hologram. She insists we come back to battle, but we press on with the rogue hunt anyway. First up is Mega Frostlass, who goes down in a solo performance from Houndoom, who is basically built to melt this icy ghost. Mega Altaria, on the other hand, resists fire, so turns into another long, grueling clutch effort from Camerupt, rocking out with Flash Cannon and Rock Slide to seal the deal. I save Mega Venusaur for last, because nothing beats the satisfaction of giving that overgrown salad a proper singe. Let's be honest, dunking on Bulbasaur is a generational pastime that we've either enjoyed or endured. On another note, I love that all these fights have their own little boss battle quirks. Mega Barbaracle from earlier was a speed demon, absolute menace, and I highly suggest making the most of that fight. Anyway, we secure our new stones, head back to the hotel, and suddenly Yacanth has had enough. She locks us inside and demands a battle, effectively holding us hostage in our own building's courtyard. Everyone else is completely calm about it, by the way. Someone call the police. This is no longer a fun joke. We two-shot her first opponent, then wipe out both of Gerald's dragons. Laban steps up next, still looking like she wandered out of a fanfic, and challenges us herself. Her team is absolutely stacked, especially her Garchomp, who absolutely mops the floor with us on our first attempt at the battle. But we can simply try again. Wait, what? We have to do the entire cutscene again? Game Freak, please! So we slog through those two trainers before her again, but this time we actually beat Laban, literally at the last possible moment, dodging the cutscene rewind by a slither. This will be a speedrunner's nightmare, I am sure of it. It turns out this was all a misunderstanding. Apparently Laban thought we weren't entering the tournament at all. Sure, that's a totally reasonable conclusion after kidnapping us entirely. So don't file the missing person reports, everyone. It's all sorted. With that kind of cleared up, we move on to our promotion match. And of course, it's against Yacanth. I'm all for knocking that snooty brat down a peg or two anyway. We rack up a whopping 41,000 championship points. Yes, Crimson, that's exactly the way we use doors. Before we strut back into the swanky mansion for round 2. They take our photo, miss the perfect chance to say fromage instead of cheese, and Laban leads us to Yakant's private battle chamber. Now, the board does look a little rigged in her favour, but at this point, I'm just happy Laban isn't fighting us again. We start off against Canary, and Strawberry immediately starts tearing through her team with Earthquake, until Mega Electros wipes her out. This isn't a huge problem though. Crimson swoops in with close combat to finish the job. Next up is Ivor, and his fighting types weren't easy last time. His Heracross takes down Blush the Talonflame with an unfortunate knockout, putting us on the back foot immediately. We trade blows back and forth until it's down to Embor versus Mega Phalanx. We both go for close combat, head to head, but in the end, Mega Crimson hits a bit harder, flattening the formation and taking the win. That's 2 down in the tournament, and honestly, we're looking pretty solid so far. Corbeau is our penultimate opponent, and I've got to say, I think I'm the better dressed one here. He's giving me the ick a bit now, honestly. Oh wait, his eyes, I take it back. Who doesn't love a bad boy? We open with Sangria against his Arbok, take it down quickly, but then we can't lock onto Gyarados, and our line gets obliterated. 3 Pokemon go down in a row before Sunset finally lands a Thunderfang to stabilize things. Roserade's out next, and even though Sunset drops, Camerupt cleans up with a knockout, which we then trade out for Chandelure as Scolipede hits the field. Both of us Mega Evolve, but Advantage swings our way when Overheat connects, followed by a Shadow Ball to seal the deal. And finally, after hours of grinding, strategizing and button mashing, it is time. Our grand finale, Yakanth, who's battled her way here flawlessly. Mate, are you having me on? What's that dog doing here? I've waited so long for this battle. Before we can even start, there's a bit of chatter and suddenly I'm fighting the dual butt dog himself. And the game even represents it on the battle board. Amazing. Just let me battle this trainer. We begrudgingly take on Zygarde. But hey, I could take on a dog. Wait, what? It's now a snake? It lands a massive hit on me personally. Emotionally, spiritually, definitely physically, but we do manage to take it down with a Pokemon, because you know, Pokemon fights should be about the Pokemon. It slinks back into dog form and scampers off before I get pet control on it for attacking me. And finally, it's time to take on Yakanth. And Strawberry is now doing what I'm calling going bananas. Strawberry the Camerupt picks up 4 straight knockouts, bringing Mega Clefabell down to a slither before finally dropping. We send in Sunset for one final blow, and just like that, one of the smoothest fights of the entire game is over before it really even began. And with that, we are officially a rank B trainer. I have no idea who's next, but considering how many unhinged trainers this game's thrown at us so far, I'm both excited and truly terrified. We head back to the hotel, where AZ is being cryptic, as per usual. We wake up the next morning, and yep, he's still being pretty weird. He implores us to look at something. Classic vague old man. And before we can question it, Vinny ropes us into visiting his little building again. Once there, we're suddenly thrown into a meeting with the president, who explains that the wild zone barriers were designed to create safe areas where Pokemon and people could live side by side. Obviously, what else would they be there for? The issue is that the central tower has been emitting something called Mega Power, which has caused all the rogue Mega Revolutions. The government's worried this is the reason people are leaving Lumios, and not worried that it's the fact that people get mugged immediately on arrival. But regardless, we're sent to hunt down some more rogue Megas. First up is Mega Dragonite. Say what you want about that design, I'm concluding that it being an agreeable threat is the best way to describe it. It hits hard, but we do make it through. Next is Mega Tyranitar, equally terrifying, maybe even worse, but at least we've got a bit more coverage this time. And finally, the pièce de résistance. Mega Starmie, also known as Patrick Star in drag. My word, we were not built for this fight. Its speed, its water typing, it's absolute nightmare fuel for a fire-only team. Eventually though, they all go down and we regroup back at the hotel for what I'm told is our final promotional match. And our opponent is none other than Grisham. Who? Come again? Well, that's not who I expected, honestly. Mainly because I have no idea who that is and no one at the table does either. We get Emma the detective to help us out for this one, and after going around the city a little bit, we do finally end up at the coffee shop. And when we arrive there, we simply order a promotion match, and that's when everything clicks. The coffee shop owner himself is one of the top rated battlers in the entire region. Some twist, huh? You could say a twist to go with the coffee, or maybe we could not say that and pretend that that joke didn't miss entirely. Grisham, or Gree, reveals he's been battling to carry on Team Flare's ideals and that we can't stop him. He tells us if he wants to know more, we need to chat somewhere more discreet. So he grabs his Charizard and we go to find him. And don't worry, Fennekin lovers, I did do the Fennekin side quest at this point, right at the end. So yes, we do have a Fennekin. It's called Chili. It won't be in the team, but it's now the official mascot. Woohoo! Eventually, we arrive at the rundown coffee house, where 2 Team Flare members greet me and immediately start calling me a good little boy. They skip the part where they ask for my name and my badge number though, instead revealing that this is Lysander's Cafe, now basically a shrine for the remnants of Team Flare. Gree doesn't stop dropping the lore on us though, because apparently Lysander was an absolute madman who wanted to wipe out most of Kalos. Have I ever played X and Y? Yes. And AZ, yes that AZ, as if there could be another man with that name, what am I talking about? Actually built the ultimate weapon that could do it. So we're revealed that we can enter Lysander's lab, hidden behind the coffee shop. What follows is a full-on labyrinth, wild encounters everywhere, rows of tangled lab equipment, and me getting lost every few minutes. Strawberry turns out to be a perfect pick here, roasting through Houndoom, Electrike, and Noivern with ease, solidifying that GOAT status once again. Deeper in the maze, we get the jump scare of a lifetime, making eye contact with an alpha Aegislash. But after we push past it, we reach a dark chamber filled with machinery. Here we learn more about Lysander's save the world by destroying it philosophy and his obsession with overpopulation. Then he appears himself, accompanied by Zygarde. There's a lot of back and forth chat with Lysander and Gree at this point, but it ends up with Gree wanting us to go and get AZ's Floette for him. Right, sure. Of course I'm gonna do that for you. We track down AZ, who proceeds to give us his entire life story, and considering he's 3,000 years old, I'm right there with Naveen's facial expression on feeling every single one of those years. Then we're back to grinding tickets for another Challenger's Pass. We rack up 45,000 points, which takes an ungodly amount of time, before finally earning our ticket to the top. Back at the coffee parlor, we finally challenge Grisham, saying that the winner takes AZ and his Floette. He accepts, calls out his Charizard, who gives me the meanest glare I've ever seen on a lizard. And just like that, the supposed final battle begins. Before we start though, this fight is absolutely nails. Grisham's team is stacked with raw power, and the level disparity doesn't even begin to explain how hard these things hit. Anyway, here's how it went. Pangoro leads the charge, which honestly feels pretty poetic. A callback to our very first battle all the way back at the start of the run. We take out that panda pretty promptly with a close combat, and Grisham throws in Malamar against Terracotta. We build momentum with calm mind until Shadow Ball sees it off. Pyroar is up next, and against our Crimson, its attack amounts to nothing after a clean close combat KOs it. We swap into Blush the Talonflame as Tyranitar comes in, which was a terrible move. We get immediately one-hit KO'd by Stone Edge, so we call upon Chandelure to get a burn off before it also goes down. At this point, we call on Crimson, who Mega Evolves into Mega Emboar before knocking it out with a close combat. Salamence then comes in and trades the knockout with an Earthquake as we bring in Sangria, who does just enough damage to the winged beast so that Strawberry can come in and get the knockout. Its Tensor's Charizard comes in and Mega Evolves on our remaining 2 Pokemon. Camerupt, as expected, does go down, and it's Sunset against the world. We trade attacks back and forth, Mega Evolving for more damage, and eventually, with 2 hit points left, we Dark Pulse for the narrowest of wins. Phew! And just like that, we've officially been promoted to an A-rank trainer, the best in the land, the perfection of Paris, the king of Kalos. Wait, it's not over? Well, you'd think that's the end, but no, the show must go on, because seconds later, we're literally blown out of bed by an explosion. We're whisked off to the now luminous pink Prism Tower, where chaos has well and truly broken loose. Tawny immediately challenges us to a battle, which thankfully isn't too stressful. Crimson wipes through her first 3 Pokemon without even breaking a sweat, and we eventually get the win against her Mega Feraligatr. After the fight, we witness Floette Mega Evolve in a desperate attempt to stabilize the tower, but things start spiraling fast. Now inside of it, Tawny decides to FaceTime us mid-crisis, because apparently that's the best thing to do. Right now for a catch-up? Yeah, you think so? Okay, you do you, hun. But of course, it all goes horribly wrong. The entire tower transforms into some kind of ungodly plant structure. Say what you want about Pokemon, it always finds new ways to be Pokemon-y. And now it's my turn to step in, taking on both Rogue Mega Gengar and Mega Heracross as the city crumbles around us. Things are heating up, and honestly, this is the most authentic Pokemon feeling I've had in years. Most of our previous promotion rivals returned for a massive organised push to save Lumios. One giant battle spreads across the city, and wave after wave of rogue mega Pokemon start emerging. It's intense, it's chaotic, it's exhausting, and I'm absolutely loving it. After enough time fighting through hordes of enemies, leaping over parkour obstacles, and literally climbing up Corbo's back, who's decided to make a human ladder to help the cause. Yes, that's a thing, really. We finally come face to face with the ultimate challenge. Hyper Rogue Ange Floette. Yep, that's what they named it. This fight is so long. Like Diamond and Pearl Blissey HP bar long. It's the endurance test to end all endurance tasks. Fortunately, we have Zygarde on our side, and not just any Zygarde now. Thanks to Lysander's green gooey scavenger hunt, we've got Zygarde complete form backing us up. It's a drawn out, grueling battle, and honestly I struggled a lot. Eventually though, we do enough damage for Zygarde to deliver the final blow and completely destroy the monstrous tower. The tower tries to unleash one last light of ruin to destroy the city, but in one of the wildest moments in the entire game, we suddenly unlock the ability to Mega Evolve Zygarde. With our own devastating counterattack, we stop the tower's death rattle right in its tracks. And just like that, through the smoke and rubble, and what can only be described as a full-blown Pokemon terror attack, we've managed to save the day, and the run is over. Our searing team of fire types carried us all the way to the end credits, with nothing but grit, determination, and, okay, about 700 free heals from the region's incredibly generous citizens. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this run. If you did, a like and a subscribe would be ace, and as always, a huge thanks to my channel members for keeping this fire burning. There'll be plenty more of these coming soon, so stay tuned. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you at the Luxury Ball Resort.